Christine. Okay. We have a... Ah oui, je vais mettre là. An extra topic to present from the VP4 is a sustainability plan. As you know, as JAV and this conference come to a close, it's important to speak about the sustainability of the JAV main output. This is the focus of the presentation that Augustin will do in a few minutes. Sustainability is about integrating the tool and evidence-based practices into national, but also into the EU level. In each joint action, there is a work package dedicated to sustainability. This is a compulsory work package. So we were in charge at the Ministry of Health of this work package for the joint action on vaccination. So Augustin, we will present you the main feature of the plan we have developed and how we try to make the best use of the ambitious Health Union legislative package. So Augustin, please, the floor is yours.
All right. Thank you, Majid, for the introduction. Okay. All right. Sorry for that little delay. Hopefully it works now. So as a short introduction to the presentation of the sustainability plan, which will look after the end of the EU-JAV, we wanted to take a step back and to look at the context of the EU-JAV as well as the origins of this joint action once again. So as you all know, in 2018, we released both the communication from the Commission and the Council recommendations on vaccine-preventable diseases, as well as a year later, a roadmap, which included the JAV as a key project. Of course, the COVID-19 pandemic has collided with the EU-JAV, but this crisis has, in turn, also allowed the implementation of key European projects, especially regarding joint procurement of vaccine and information sharing. And the COVID-19 pandemic has also created a dynamic for the evolution of the European Union towards a health union that we are going to talk about just after. But first, about the more technical aspect of the elaboration of the sustainability plan. So the elaboration of the sustainability plan stems from the first objective of the EU-JAV, and in particular, as it looks to ensure the sustainability of the outputs of the EU-JAV, it follows a double objective to both ensure their sustainability, their integration at national level into national policies, and their support at EU level within relevant structures. The elaboration of the sustainability plan has been achieved through a close cooperation with member states. And to allow for this cooperation, a vaccine network has been set up in 2019. And as a key part of the EU-JAV governance structure, it comprises both a member states committee and a stakeholders forum, and was tasked with providing strategic guidance, support, and feedback for the elaboration of the sustainability plan. This slide in particular aims at showing you the stepwise approach that we took in elaborating the plan. And by the end of the joint action, the Member States Committee has been consulted no less than 3 times, including once very recently in January 2022. 2 drafts for the sustainability plan were released respectively in September 2019 and January 2021 to the partners for their feedback. And the final report that we present today takes stock of the comments received from both drafts, as well as it offers a new structure. It also offers perspectives for the integration of JAV outputs and objectives at different time horizons, and connects to the evolution of the European Union towards a health union through a tool that we have developed, that is the review of the health union framework legislative package. And I'm going to talk about it just now. So as we have seen earlier, a key characteristic of the EU-JAV is the alignment of its objectives and outputs with the gaps that have been uncovered by the COVID-19 pandemic. And so analyzing the evolution of the European Union towards a better preparedness, better risk assessment and capacity assessment abilities is paramount to understand the options that are offered to us regarding the integration and sustainability of EU-JAV outputs. The the Health Union legislative package comprises a new mandate for the ECDC, the European Centre for Disease Control, a renewed mandate for the European Medicines Agency, as well as a revised regulation on serious cross-border threats to health, and the creation of the Health Emergency Preparedness and Response Authority that we know as ERA. It was important to us to understand the ways that these evolutions intersect with EU-JAV outputs in their scopes and objectives, in order to identify the measures that already ensure the sustainability of EU-JAV outputs, as well as spaces for the integration of EU-JAV outputs at EU level within relevant structures. We have analyzed those legal texts in a systematic way in order to map the relevant articles for each of the selected EU-JAV outputs, the results of which have been presented in a table that is a part of the sustainability plan in the annex section. The results from this analysis has given us perspectives for the integration of the outputs of the EU-JAV, a few examples of which will be developed later on. But first, the repartition of the selected outputs in the final plan. For the final sustainability plan, we have adopted a 3 groups structure based on the nature and the objectives of the outputs. So first, we have the tools for capacity building at national and EU levels, which aim at reinforcing the member states' national immunization programs, especially regarding the training of healthcare workers, the prioritization of research questions, and the communication. Then we have the shared platforms to ensure cooperation and cross-border data gathering at EU level, which aim at facilitating and promoting the sharing of innovative tools and best practices regarding the harmonized estimation of vaccine coverage and vaccine confidence. And finally, the EU-JAV has also produced recommendations to improve preparedness on vaccine supplies in development, with a particular focus on the funding of research and the management of vaccine supplies. We will now go over 3 selected examples of EU-JAV outputs and the perspectives for their sustainability, as they have all been presented to you just before me. We will not describe them again. So first is the vaccine training barometer, and here we would first want you to see the structure we have adopted for the plan, with 2 levels of integration, national and EU level, as well as the objectives at short, medium, and long terms. The vaccine training barometer could be disseminated to member states through the Coalition for Vaccination, as we have seen earlier with Griet Hendricks and the panelists, which is a long-term partner of the project, and then use at member state level for each member state to assess their own healthcare workers' needs for training. Regarding the European level, the ECDC has recently launched a project for a competencies-based course in vaccinology for primary healthcare workers, for which it has commissioned a needs assessment, and we think an option could be for them to take this tool in order to build this capacity from within, as well as to evaluate the effectiveness of the trainings and the progress made by healthcare workers through periodic assessment. Here, the short-term objective would be to disseminate and promote the common protocol to ensure the uptake at the country level and to disseminate it through the coalition. Then it would be to perform trend analysis on the barometer's results in different countries and, of course, facing specific situation. And finally, on a longer-term horizon, it would be important to update the barometer as well as to look for more funding to do so and to use its output to develop a more tailored training and communication tools. Then in the category shared platforms to ensure cooperation and cross-border data gathering at EU level, we have chosen to develop the platform and corresponding protocol for harmonized estimation of measles containing vaccine coverage. The protocol could be used by national institutions for the estimation of their own MMR vaccine coverage, and the dissemination to national institutions could be ensured by the national epidemiological surveillance agencies, possibly with the help of the ECDC. At EU level, an option would be to integrate the protocol within the ECDC's own surveillance standards, and likewise the maintenance of the platform could be entrusted to the European Commission or the ECDC, which would be relevant with its mission to establish digital platforms for interoperable systems, surveillance systems. And as we have seen this morning, the discussions are already on their way with the ECDC for the uptake of key experience from the team in charge of this output. The short-term objective here would be to disseminate and promote the common protocol at member states level. Then it would be to ensure that member states effectively report their data to the platform, which is crucial. And the longer-term objective would be to develop cross-border vaccination campaigns across the EU based on the immunization gaps identified through the use of the platform. Finally, the third example we have decided to develop here is the vaccine confidence platforms. And by that, I mean both the online platform to support public health responses to vaccine hesitancy, as well as the vaccine confidence monitoring platform. Regarding the first one, the technical aspect of its sustainability has already been ensured as it is hosted by the European Health Policy Platform and funded until 2027. However, there is a need to ensure the sustainability of the content of the platform. And to that end, we think an option could be the creation of networks of experts to update the database and to exchange on best practices, possibly through use of webinars. Regarding the vaccine confidence monitoring platforms, there are two options. Either it is managed by a European institution or taken in charge by a member state, of course, given proper EU funding. As such, for both platforms, the immediate step would be to update the content of the platform to support public health responses to vaccine hesitancy through the expert seminars that we talked about. Then it would be to exchange good practices across member states funded under the health program, and to use, of course, the vaccine confidence barometer for real-time detection of the changes in trends of vaccine-related conversations on social media, with a view on focusing on false information. Finally, based on the results of the barometer, as well as the lessons learned, it would be to improve and adapt health authorities' communication on vaccine in order to quickly react to the spread of misinformation and to tackle that spread. And we think an option on a longer term horizon would be to integrate social media in the communication channels used by health authorities in EU member states in order to allow them to fight misinformation on that ground as well. Moving on to the conclusions and perspective, first saying that the outputs we have presented today here are only a fraction of the total EU-JAV outputs that have been all included and detailed within the sustainability plan. And so the final report, Integration into National Policies and Sustainability, aims at allowing the continuation and maintenance of EU-JAV outputs after the end of the joint action without creating any new EU structure. It offers perspectives for the integration of EU-JAV outputs within member states' policies, and as well as for the support at EU level by relevant bodies, as well as you have seen, roadmaps for the objectives at short, medium, and long terms. The outputs of the EU-JAV offer significant opportunities for collaboration with evolving EU structure, with a view to fight vaccine-preventable diseases in Europe and to reinforce preparedness to cross-border health threats. And finally, we wanted to stress that the sustainability of the work of the EU-JAV in the coming months relies on the joint involvement of the European partners and the member states. And we are very confident that this involvement will be fueled by the European impetus towards a health union, as well as the enthusiasm of member states regarding the usefulness of JAV outputs expressed during the last member states committee. And we want to take that opportunity to thank the member states committee nominees for their support, as well as the EU-JAV partners for having accompanied us all throughout this process. And thank you for your attention.